Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're diving into the absolute biggest slowdown plaguing data-driven companies right now, and more importantly, how to fundamentally solve it. Look, if you work in a multi-location, multi-system business, you already know that moving fast is everything, but there's this silent killer of speed just hiding in plain sight within your data infrastructure. So today, we're breaking down what's known as the Analyst Bottleneck. We'll look at why current methods for pulling data are totally broken, and we'll explore a really fascinating new approach that shifts the whole paradigm from simply trying to recall an answer to actually investigating it in real time. Let's get right into it. Okay, let's start with something completely familiar, that relentless barrage of direct Slack messages that data teams get constantly, right? If you've ever worked near a data org, just seeing a Slack message asking to pull yesterday's sales probably gives you a little bit of anxiety. It always starts innocently enough. A regional manager just needs one number. No big deal. But then, 10 other managers need their one number. And suddenly, the brilliant people who are hired to find your next big forward-looking insight, they're spending their entire afternoon acting as a human lookup service. And then, the questions get harder, like trying to figure out which worst-performing stores share a slow supplier. These ad hoc questions just pile up so quickly on that one person or maybe one small team that happens to be wired into every system, it creates a massive traffic jam. Because this isn't just a simple lookup anymore. This requires crossing completely different domains. Someone literally has to go look at finance data for store performance, then jump over to inventory data for suppliers, and then cross-reference delivery times. When hundreds of these requests hit the queue every single month, the whole system just grinds to a halt. So we define this structural issue as the analyst bottleneck. And the absolute crucial point to understand here is that the data isn't missing at all. The investigator is simply overwhelmed. I mean, your company probably has every single number it needs, but you've got these highly paid, highly trained analysts acting as human query engines instead of actually doing the high-value analysis they were hired to do. Section 1. The messy reality at McContext. To really understand why answering these questions takes so long, let's look at a hypothetical company we'll call McContext. They're a heritage American fast food chain trying to go AI native. With 2,000 stores and decades of accumulated data, it's basically the perfect stress test for the analyst bottleneck. Because, let's face it, real business data isn't just one clean, beautiful table. It's scattered across different systems without shared keys, it's full of noise, and sometimes it's just completely silent. At McContext, the finance data doesn't talk neatly to the customer loyalty data. It's incredibly noisy, like a single store might be listed under 3 slightly different names depending on which system you're in. And time zones? They drift all over the map across regions. Plus, perhaps most frustratingly, sometimes the data is just silent. The honest answer is often, look, we just can't know that from what we have. This brilliantly illustrates the pain. Think back to that complex question about slow suppliers. To answer it, a single human has to manually hop across 4 different systems and execute a 4-step process entirely by hand. Imagine being the analyst getting that request. First, they have to pull store-level sales to find the drops. Then, map those stores to delivery routes. Then, check the supplier delivery times in that specific window. And finally, manually cross-reference the whole shebang just to find the answer. It takes hours, sometimes days, just to return a single insight. This right here is exactly why the bottleneck exists. It's not one system, it's 4 systems, 3 manual joins, and a whole lot of wasted human potential. Now, you might be wondering, wait, don't we already have tools for this? Well, yes and no. Current solutions fail for a couple of key reasons. Dashboards are great, sure, but they only answer the predicted questions you build in advance, like 6 months ago. They can't answer new questions on the fly. And on the flip side, if you just slap a naive AI chatbot on top of your database, you get the absolute worst outcome. It guesses. When it doesn't know, it dangerously invents plausible but completely wrong numbers. And you just know someone is going to make a real business decision based on that hallucination. No way. Section 2. Meet Pivot, the agentic analyst. This brings us to the actual solution. See, the first ways of AI and data got it completely backwards by trying to build models that just know or memorize the answer. But business numbers change every hour. So instead, meet an agentic analyst named Pivot. Pivot acts as a secure layer between a plain English business question and all those messy, scattered systems holding the answer. You interact with it just like you would Slack a human analyst, but behind the scenes, it connects through a secure, hosted server that the company completely controls. It uses read-only tools to literally explore the data, discovering which tables exist as it does the job. It never writes to your source systems, and it never sends your data out to third parties. It's a secure, incredibly fast investigator designed to hit live systems every single time a question is asked. So instead of guessing, Pivot runs this really rigorous reasoning loop where it investigates live systems to work the problem. It starts by interpreting your plain English question. Then, in literal milliseconds, it locates the relevant data across all those messy domains we talked about. Give it another second, and it queries exactly what's needed, not the whole data warehouse, just the exact tables. Then it chains multi-step reasoning together. Finally, it provides the answer, and most importantly, it shows its work. All of this happens in seconds, not days. Section 3, Band 3, Investigative Questions. Now, while Pivot can obviously handle the simple stuff, it truly earns its keep on what we call Band 3 investigative questions. These are the complex, chained questions no single dashboard was ever built for. As you can see in this flow, to answer our query about failing stores and slow suppliers, Pivot goes step by step. Step 1, it queries finance data to rank stores. Step 2, it maps those worst 20 stores to inventory data. Step 3, it computes changes in supplier delivery times. And Step 4, it cross-references and chains it all together. It's automatically joining, segmenting, and comparing across domains. It's literally performing the exact multi-step reasoning a junior analyst would do by hand, but in moments. But perhaps the most important feature here is trust. Let's say someone asks for the lifetime value of customers who paid in cash. Well, because cash payments aren't tied to loyalty identities, that's practically impossible to compute. So instead of making up a number, Pivot issues an honest refusal. It just says, I can't answer that from the data. And honestly, in the world of business intelligence, an honest refusal is infinitely more valuable than a confident guess. Trust is the real product here. By strictly adhering to these grounding rules, Pivot ensures data teams can actually trust it. First, every number comes from a live query, not memory. If it didn't read it, it doesn't say it. Second, every single answer ships with the exact query or path attached, so a human can easily check its work. Third, it rewards that honest refusal when the data is silent. And fourth, it has 100% read-only access. It never mutates your data. Because of this rigor, your data team can confidently audit the path and actually put their name behind the answers. It speaks the language of data governance. Section 4, the new ROI, freeing the human engine. Let's move to the aftermath and see the dramatic impact this technology has. So, we've solved the bottleneck. What does the business look like now? The return on investment here isn't just about saving a few bucks. It's about fundamentally accelerating how the entire company makes decisions. The transformation is just staggering. Before, you filed a ticket and waited days for an analyst to act as a lookup service. After, a regional manager just drops a plain English question into Slack and has an audited, verified answer in about 30 seconds. Those agonizing wait times are gone, the confident wrong number mistakes vanish, and decision-making finally happens at the speed of thought. To put that into perspective, let's do a little math. If you have a 6-person data team and they get even a third of their time back from doing these ad hoc lookups, well, that's the equivalent of adding 2 full analysts to your team. 2 full analysts freed up to do high-value, forward-looking work, all without a single new hire. This is the whole pitch distilled into one number. You're not just buying software, you are reclaiming human potential. You're offloading the investigative grunt work so your team can do the creative, strategic analysis that humans are uniquely brilliant at. I want to leave you with this final thought for this explainer. If your data team stopped acting as a human query engine today, what incredible, forward-looking insights are they finally free to uncover tomorrow? Once you eliminate the analyst bottleneck, the possibilities just open up dramatically. Thank you so much for joining me as we unpack this bottleneck and the huge shift toward agentic investigation. Keep questioning, keep learning, and I'll see you next time.